13900K processor, a whole bunch, I think 64 gigabytes of RAM, 2 terabyte NVMe hard drive, but it's like built into an actual statue of Lilith from Diablo. Really cool. Got it because of a stupid Twitter giveaway where they asked us to post our character all customized out. So I put a cool looking barbarian up there because I was the unofficial self-proclaimed head of the Barb gang. But yeah, I'll shoot you some pictures if you want to put them up or whatever of the actual statue. But yeah, it's really cool. She's got all the horns and everything going on. There's like a little skull underneath her and stuff. It's pretty dope. And to this day, I've had this thing since Diablo 4 came out. What is that, like 2 years ago, 3 years ago?
I think it's been about
at this point,
a little over 2 years.
Yeah, and to this day, there's not one single tweet of me winning this PC. It just I entered the contest a couple weeks later. I get a DM on Twitter saying, "Hey, you're in the small pool of people. Send us your information just in case you win." And it looks sketchy, so I talked to one of my buddies, sent him screenshots, and he was like, "Yeah, no, that looks exactly like the stuff that I've won from Nvidia and stuff before." So I was like, okay, send all my stuff, and then about a week or so later, I get a random email with just a bill of lading that it was shipped to me. So I DM'd them back on Twitter. I was like, hey, does this bill of lading mean that I won? To this day, no contact. And then 2024 at TwitchCon in San Diego, Jay's 2 Cents was doing a giveaway build at the PNY booth because PNY donated a bunch of parts and stuff to it, and I was trying to orient myself where that was. I show up early, and I'm like, oh yeah, okay, this is the PNY booth. I started talking to a couple of the people, and as I'm talking to them over their shoulder, they had a TV with a rotation of a bunch of builds that they did, and my Lilith PC was on the screen. I was like, hey, there's my computer, and they're like, what? And I was like, yeah, I won that. And they're like, no way. So I had to pull out my phone and like pull up like my Discord and my TikToks and everything and show them and everything. They're like, no way, we didn't know anybody won it yet. And they're like, yeah, me too. It was a whole thing. It was pretty funny.
Was the contest during was it post launch or was it before launch when they did the beta?
It was a couple months after the actual launch. Yeah, because it was like a post your fully kitted out your fully kitted out character type of a deal. So there was like people putting in like these really cool like necromancers and wizards and stuff, and I was just, because I'm all about barbarian when I play those kind of games. I was like, I had a really cool looking barb, so I was like, let me put my barb on there, and sure enough, apparently I won.
That's awesome, dude.
I have the PC, so I'm just guessing that I won.
Diablo 4 was a weird one because I really, really, really enjoyed playing through the campaign and finishing like the story, and then the end game just felt like immediately, I'm not interested in this. Yeah, the grind was kind of a weird grind. It was. It was like too grindy almost. I love grinding in games. Like I played Diablo Immortal before that, and had one of my clan members called me a time whale, which kind of fit because I was keeping up with people that spent a couple grand on their accounts at the time. Mm-hmm. And I had only spent, it's a lot of money for me, but I spent about like $500-600 on my character. Yeah, but I was keeping up with people that had spent 3 times that, 4 times that. And I was keeping up with them just based on me playing the game. Don't tell my boss, but I was playing the game about 18 hours a day while I was at work and stuff. So I was definitely had that mindset. And yeah, Diablo 4 was fun if I had a group of people. They didn't even have to be playing Diablo, but if I was just in a Discord call with some folks, if they were like grinding PoE or something, or Pokemon even, I don't care, I was able to grind just because I could have that conversation and it would take my mind off the grind. But as soon as all my friends left Diablo and left all hanging out in the Discord calls with me on that, it was like my love for playing Diablo 4 just went
from 100 to 0 like overnight, and so I just haven't picked it up since. I know they have.
You didn't play the second or the first expansion or whatever? No.
I think you know what? I don't. I might have did the first expansion, but not the second.
Yeah, I haven't messed with the Paladin one, but I did the Spiritborn one.
Yeah, it was crazy then, because like everything just went to shit.
The most fun I had in Diablo 4, and I hate to say this, but it is the truth. The most fun I had was in the beta when Ashava was the end game, and everybody could only get to level 25, and then you would all go out and you would have this like 20-minute long Ashava fight, just barely surviving. That was the most fun I ever had. Yeah, the old world boss. That was fun as hell. I will say that was still fun at launch too, in the full game. For me, it was anyway. It was my favorite thing, world bosses. Other people maybe not so much, but I enjoyed the world boss fights because you could, if you got in a good group, you could really punch above your weight and get some good loot. yeah. But then they got to the point where they were just auto-deleted, you know? Yeah. Like when I was playing the Spiritborn expansion and I was like, oh, I'm going to go hit up all of the world bosses again. And it was just like 30-second long fights, you know? And it's... Just be there, get a land hit if you can. Hopefully you get the XP. Yeah, that was super fun. The Diablo Immortal bosses were kind of more fun for me. I know most of the people that played it probably hated it, but run in circles to get your XP and all your stuff, I loved that. I just find a nice little spot where nobody's at and then just run laps for a couple hours, teleport back to town, clear out your inventory, teleport back, and keep going. If you played on your phone? No, I played on PC primarily. Oh, okay. And controller, because I only started playing PC in around 2020. Never played any PC games prior to that. So I'm a controller guy because always on consoles and stuff. So it's just ingrained in me. 30 plus years of doing it, so I kind of use what you know. So but it was super fun. I remember seeing your favorite YouTubers and stuff and stuff like that, like Chosen and Deadwood Jedi and Darth Micro, seeing them out in the world and stuff, and you're just like stopping and you're like, hey, and then go on about your day. Well, hey, you party people, it's Ned Crash, and today I'm joined by JKG Brandon. Welcome to the show, finally.
Yeah, it's been a while, man. I know we've been trying to get this, trying to get linked up for a while, but things have been pretty crazy lately.
Yeah, this is an episode that's 4 to 5 months in the making.
Legitimately. Yeah.
But yeah, I know you had a lot going on in just these last few weeks. I had a bunch, I think. If people paid attention to the timelines, I pre-recorded those 3 episodes kind of back to back to back, so the information was becoming less relevant about Godforge, like for every episode.
Yeah, it happens, man. It happens. Trying to stay up with everything, and especially the way Fateless team has been kind of drip feeding, so to speak. But doing the weekly podcast with something new every single podcast on that weekly podcast has been kind of nice. It's been really refreshing to see a game developer be so transparent with their process of just developing the game. That's been probably really cool to see, because I'm used to game developers. We all know and love Rockstar and all them. They like to put out a half-finished game and then give you, DLCs that you got to pay for 6 months down the line. Yeah, and before you know it, you're $130 into a $50 game just to play the game.
That's a topic we could talk about for a long time, because know the No Man's Skies and the Cyberpunks are kind of the exception, not the rule, where somebody fixes it. Final Fantasy 14, another good example, right? But most of these games that released half done and then you pay for the DLC, they just die and people get annoyed.
I blame Electronic Arts for starting it with because
what was their
they started doing all kinds of that DLC and trying to recycle old stuff with like their sports series like Madden and it was that's where they like started it, and then they took it to the other side for like just the fantasy style games and stuff. But yeah, I want to say EA started it. I could be wrong, but I feel like EA started it, and then once they like won a couple lawsuits because they have billions of dollars and stuff to throw at lawyers.
This is sounding familiar. This is triggering a synapse that is still broken but is firing now.
Unfortunately, they set a precedent for all other game companies like Rockstar and Blizzard and Activision, and so it just became the norm to somehow we let it happen as consumers. We just somehow we let it happen. We just got apathetic or something over time and just said, you know what? Still gonna play it. I'm still gonna buy it. and we did, and here we are, getting half finished games.
I like the model of release a game, and if people love it, then do more stuff to it. And we were just talking about Diablo, and this is fascinating to me. The Diablo 2 expansion that just came out, that Blizzard actually iterated on a 25-year-old game. Is that how old Diablo 2 is now?
Is it 25? It's either 25 or 30, maybe even. I don't know.
Was it the 90s? I'm trying to remember. I think I was in high school.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I watched a couple homies that were streaming like the Blizzard live stream of the announcements and stuff, because they were checking out like Diablo 2. One of them was checking out the Diablo Immortal update for their anniversary and stuff. So yeah, they did a whole bunch of stuff. I didn't keep up with everything that was going on, but they big updates for everything. So
it's smart. It's smart on Blizzard's part, because I think WoW is finally having its death throes at this point.
Is it? I know Adventures with Adam. Adam will be a little upset about that. He's a big WoW guy.
Gecko, yeah.
Yeah. I never got into WoW. I'm kind of glad I never got into WoW, because that would have been a time sink that would have just... I would have not had I would be the picture from South Park. I'd be the guy, 500 pounds with all the Coke cans, just like sitting there at my computer. I would have 100% been that guy, because I will be a time whale in a grindy type game like that, and I'll just run circles. I'll do all the quests. I'll try to do all the side quests before I do the main quests. It's terrible.
Yeah, I think I'm more of an Asmongold in that a chunk of my life I was playing MMOs and I missed all the single player games, where I wish that I had been a donkey and I had all this knowledge of all these old single player games that I just never played because I was dropping hundreds of hours into MMOs.
yeah. I'm glad I stayed with my my sports games, my Madden, even just cheesy, not even realistic racing games like Burnout Revenge, stuff like that. I played a lot of those with my friends just to pass time, and then Gears of War came out and we became super competitive with that, and unfortunately that was not good for my blood pressure. Didn't know it was my blood pressure at the time, but I was like so stressed out. I would be so stressed out playing with my friends, and then I'd get done playing and it would take a while and my heart would be like pumping through my chest. And
interesting.
Knowing what I know now, it was my blood pressure telling me, "Hey man, you gotta you gotta do better."
War.
yeah, it was a super stressful time in my life. I loved Gears of War. It's my favorite game franchise of all time, but it's so stressful.
Yeah, you talk about being a console gamer. So were you like an Xbox guy for the longest time?
Yeah, I mean, I started on Atari 26, playing Knight Rider and Pong, and then moved up to the original Nintendo. And my favorite game on there was Excite Bike, of all things. And then had that forever, and then like the Sega Genesis came out and I swapped over to Sega Genesis, playing all the like Sonic and Mega Man and all those kind of fun games. And when PlayStation came out, I had the original PlayStation and I was like, this is so cool. It's on CDs instead of cartridges. It's going to be so awesome. And I had fun with that, and I played that until about 1999, when it finally, my original PlayStation finally, it finally died on me. And then I went to college in Wyoming, and one of my roommates out there had an original Xbox. And I started playing Sega GT on that, and I would sit in the loading screen. I don't know if anybody's ever played this game. Sega GT is just a racing game, but like in the loading screen, you're sitting like in the car, and you have like a laptop screen in the car. That's what the vibe is trying to be, and it was playing Pong on there. I would sit in the loading screen for like 3 hours playing Pong. and I'd be like, oh yeah, I got a race to win. And then I'd finally load into the race and play the race. But I played a couple of his games. He had like the classics, Halo and stuff. And then pretty much when I got out of college and came home, me and all my friends, we bought Xboxes at that point, and we were Xbox boys from that time on. But don't have the new one. I'm saving. Probably going to sell a whole bunch of junk from the house and see if I can't get a nice new Xbox for this winter when GTA 6 comes out, because they hate PC, and we're not going to get PC port to GTA 6 probably until 2029, just because that's how they like to do.
So you're betting it does come out this year?
We'll see. we'll see. They're talking a good game right now about it coming out. I think they said November. They keep talking a good game, but I don't know. I hope it does. I really do hope it does, because that'll be a fun game to cover. I think all the trailers and everything, they look really fun, and just the longevity that GTA 5 and GTA Online have had is absolutely incredible. People still play it today. What is it? Came out in 2012, 2013, and we're 13, 14 years on, and people are still playing it as if it just came out. There's new people playing it every day, never played it before. So hopefully GTA 6 can capture some of that, and I'm looking forward to covering it on the channel, on a new channel or old channel, or revive an old channel from the dead or something, or do a new channel away from gacha games, just because I do enjoy like GTA. It's just fun to rob people. Fun to get that anger out in a legal non IRL way.
The Polymarket is saying that release before June is virtually a 0% chance.
Yeah,
but it doesn't have 2026. I don't see.
Okay, yeah, I would not say June at all. I don't. If they ever come out and say before June, I would totally tell them they're full of crap. Yeah. But maybe by holiday season, hopefully. But we got time. If they push it back, that just means I have more time to buy my Xbox.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, you talked about all the different channels. Let's go back in time, and I think you said you didn't get a PC till after 2020, but when did you decide that you wanted to do content for something?
So in, what was it, 2019? 2018, 2019, I started working at the bank that I currently work at in the IT department, and my boss came back from break one day, and he was like, "Hey man, you got to check out this game. It's called Raid Shadow Legends. Here's a code. You can start with some free stuff." And knowing what I know now, he's just using me for a referral bonus.
Yeah, he wants a referral.
but I loaded it up, and I was like, I saw the artwork, and I was just instantly hooked. And I played that, and I started looking for content, just how to get my characters better, how to gear, characters, because I'd never played a game like that before, and was looking on YouTube, and that was right around the time I think Hell Hades had just started his channel. No camera, hearing the dogs bark in the background, all of that, all the fun stuff, right? And I was like, man, this guy is giving just a lot of information. He's not giving a lot of fluff and everything like that. I was like, okay, everybody's making content on the epics and legendaries, all the top level, heroes, the top level champions. Nobody's giving any love to like some of the stuff that I love to use, in like the uncommons and commons, the rares, those food champions basically in Raid. And I was like, maybe I could be that for the low level stuff, and just kind of niche myself down. And from a content just meta view, you do want to niche yourself into a niche and own that niche, but you don't want to go too far. I went way too far off it, just because then you just become obscure. And so I started, that was kind of mid 2019. I decided I was going to get a laptop, got a $30 webcam, I got a $30 microphone, all, Chinese knockoff brands. And my first lighting setup was I had a white styrofoam board I taped to the wall, and I had an old desk lamp from when I was a kid. I pointed that at the wall so it would bounce off the white styrofoam, and it would diffuse out and it would light me up, and I would play on the laptop. And wow. I did that for a while. Downloaded DaVinci Resolve. I was like, what is all the free stuff that I can try? So I downloaded OBS. I downloaded DaVinci Resolve. The laptop that I bought was not anywhere near strong enough to run everything that I was running. My internet at the time was like 1 megabit per second upload speed and 10 megabit per second download speed. And I learned real quick that editing videos was not my forte. So I was like, well, everybody in all these, content creator, like how to be a content creator video on YouTube is saying, get comfortable with the camera, maybe start, streaming over on Twitch or something like that. So I went over to Twitch and found a couple of people there that were doing raid. And I was like, okay, I think I can do this. And so I started setting up like an overlay and everything like that for Twitch. Started streaming on Twitch and did that for about a year or so before I got the nerve back up to go into Resolve again. And I decided, you know what, I'm gonna just edit a couple videos here and there with zero intention of uploading them. Just edit them just to get the process down. And then once I did a couple of those and deleted them, I did a video on character Saito when Saito first came out. Oh yeah. And the hilarious thing about that is all the YouTube how-to videos are like, oh yeah, you gotta edit in 4K and upload in 4K and all this kind of stuff, right? With my 1 megabit, my 10x1 internet that I had, that 4K file took 27 hours to upload. So don't that's all well and good to any future aspiring creators out there. It's all well and good to upload in 4K, but like know your equipment and your and your bandwidth, because you could be sitting there for a long time. Looked good though. The video looked really good. It was nice and crisp. But
day and a half later.
But yeah, so I did some raid videos on a channel. Did raid videos for a while, a couple years. Didn't really gain any traction, and then Diablo Immortal came out, and I switched my channel over to Diablo Immortal. And then when Diablo 4 came out, I pivoted that channel to Diablo 4, and then when all my friends left and left me high and dry, thanks Chosen. all my friends that I grinded with on a daily basis and everything, they all either left the game altogether to go play other games, or just got busy and were doing other things and weren't hopping into calls and stuff. And my love for logging in and grinding hard every day just went from 100 to 0, so I just quit altogether, and then picked up raid on a second channel just for fun. And that's basically going to be my Godforge channel going forward. I've kind of grown that channel from scratch a little bit better than growing the original channel was. And yeah, we're going to maybe pivot the old channel into a GTA, or we'll just make a brand new GTA channel when GTA 6 comes out. But we're going to be covering Godforge on the main channel. And yeah, it's going to be fun. I cannot wait for that game to come out.
It's exciting times. Now I want to find the one that I know of is the Godforge channel, which sounds like the repurposed newer raid channel, but I didn't know you had the other channel, which I'm going to link both below for people to click on.
Yeah, the OG channel is JKG Brandon. Just I renamed it as myself. The raid channel was JKG Raid, but I repurposed it to JKG Plays with a Z, because we're cool like that. Everybody that's cool has a Z in their name, But yeah, so JKG Plays is the active channel right now. The other one is just kind of, it might die off. I might do a brand new channel down the road. I haven't really decided on it, but I'm not going to be like Veldshot, another old creator from like the Diablo Immortal days that I hung out with. That dude made new channels for every single game that came out. He gamed the system. I think at one point he had like 20 channels going. God bless him. I can't do that.
It's a lot to
lot
keep
of work,
up with.
man.
I mean, I'm new to this game, and I'm staring down 4 different channels just to get things organized and not, lose out on the algorithm. And it's intimidating,
Yeah, the algorithm, man, it's tough because it puts you into that. Once you get in a groove, it's really nice, especially if you're trying to keep up daily or weekly even. But if you're doing it more casually, you can go a month without putting out a video, and you kind of fall out of the algorithm for your followers. And so it's kind of tough, which I'm gonna have to deal with that because I haven't put out an actual video since the last beta of Godforge, but that was due to had some IRL stuff with my dad catching cancer, and then now just a few weeks removed, he did pass unfortunately in January, so I'm kind of taking some time. Luckily, Godforge hasn't come out yet, so it's kind of, as far as that side, it's kind of nice to not have to worry about having to do like some daily content on top of the grieving process and everything like that. But pretty much, we're going to hit it hard once Godforge fully comes out and everything, the early access launches. We're going to try to do some daily content, maybe some daily streams and stuff like that. So, but we're going to try to hit it hard and make a good run at being one of the top creators in the Godforge space. So
I didn't want to fake my shock face for the audience. Something that we've actually been talking about a lot on Discord in both the CC chats and privately in the background. Obviously, it's a terrible thing to have to go through, and sorry for that. I guess you could say that the timing, to your point, kind of worked out for launch because the game hasn't launched yet, and you did get the beta footage out, but that's never a good thing. So
yeah, it's kind of awkward. it's like, it's one of those things where we're as a family, my sister and I, like we're holding on to the fact that he's not suffering anymore. Like, he was in constant pain, not just from the cancer. He had a stroke and lost his legs a couple years before that, and like
didn't know about that.
Yeah, he's been through it, man. He had a really, really rough last 10 years, give or take, and so I was trying to be there for him as much as I can, but men, we like to internalize everything, and so how are you doing today? I'm fine, I'm okay, living the dream, and so I'm just kind of looking at it as like, okay, kind of open my eyes to be a little bit more open and honest with my friends and my family around me about how I'm actually doing and everything like that. And then I'm pretty open about talking about things going on in my family and stuff, more kind of like to be cathartic a little bit for me, just getting it out, almost like therapy. But also, if there's one person that's going through something even remotely similar and they're struggling to like, how do I deal with this? Just if I can be a positive voice to them, like, hey, it sucks. You're going through pain. Acknowledge the pain. It's not going to go away. It's going to be there until time heals all wounds, right? So it's gonna fade over time, but just remember, especially with losing my dad, it's like, it's all gonna hit me like a ton of bricks one of these days, but it still doesn't feel real. I still feel like I'm going to get a call on my phone or a text at 4:00 in the morning yelling at me about, the nurses coming to take his blood in the middle of the night and waking him up and all that kind of stuff. So it doesn't feel real yet. It's going to soon. I know it will. And I'm prepared for that, but it's just, everybody grieves a little bit differently. But if anybody sees what I'm going through and sees me moving forward and trying to be positive about, life and just moving forward with everything, if that helps even one person get through one more day, it's all worth it.
I told you that I had lost my dad about 3.5 years ago, I think, and it was like sudden. It was on the horizon, but it wasn't like what you were going through, where you sort of have to overcome insurmountable odds, right? It wasn't like that, but we were living remotely, so I hadn't seen him in a long time. But kind of what you're saying, like that grieving process felt easy at first, and then I lost my dog like a year later, I think, and that's when it all hit me. Was like right after that, and that's when I started having like panic attacks and couldn't sleep. I had insomnia for weeks, if not months. So it's a strange process to go through for sure.
Yeah, grieving is and it's different for everybody. Like my sister grieves, like she's here right now. We've been going through the house, throwing away a bunch of junk that my dad was hoarding and stuff over the last 20 years, way before getting sick and everything. But yeah, like she grieves a little bit different than I do. I grieve different than my grandparents do. As a whole, we're pretty good about stuff. We have a good sense of humor about, we're able to kind of joke and stuff with each other about, some of the stuff that he was hanging on to. It's been kind of nice to kind of going through some of this junk. It's like, why the hell is Dad saving this? Like, what is this? This is nothing. It's just up. It's like a candle of like it was like a liquid candle that I found today that was just sitting on top of a shelf in our garage. And it was there for probably 40 years. It's like, whose is this? I've never seen this in my life. And so it's just like, it's stuff like that. We're able to kind of laugh and joke about it, which kind of helps. This weekend has been pretty cathartic, just kind of going through everything and getting some of the stuff out. But still hasn't hit me, in full force. And like I said, like you said, losing your dog a year later, which that sucks, man. Having that multiply and just kind of hit not necessarily out of nowhere, but like all at once. It's just, I know it's going to hit and I'm preparing for that. And I know it's going to happen at some point, but it's just right now we're all kind of happy that, he's just not suffering anymore. That's the big thing we're hanging on to.
That was such a tough thing. And I mean, just knowing that you were going through it. I mean, we were talking about it in chat over time, was like, man, and I say this has been 4 or 5 months in the works, right? It would be a number of times we'd be like, all right, Sunday night, 7 p.m. And then it's like, hey, I got to go to the hospital. And that was a running theme. So was he living at the same house that you were living at?
Yeah. So he had a stroke back in like 2016, 2017, kind of right around that area. I was living out in Colorado Springs at the time. I had moved away for work, and I was living out there. He had the stroke, and when he had the stroke, I was like, that coincided being so far away from my dad, and my mom bailed on the family a couple years before that, and so it was just like a big tidal wave, like a big snowball of him having the stroke. I was having a rough patch with myself, just mentally and stuff. And I was like, I kind of sat myself down in the bathroom, looked in the mirror, and I was like, if I'm this miserable right now in a place that I want to be, and I only have like 2 friends here and a lot of acquaintances that I'm friendly with and everything like that, but just 2 real friends here. But like all of my friend group, all my family is back in California. My dad's sick and I'm 2,000 miles away or whatever it is. I was like, let me just go be miserable back home where I have more support group around me to kind of help me not be so depressed all the time. So I moved back home, and he lost peripheral vision when he had his stroke, so he couldn't drive anymore. He was able to still get around and everything, but I was basically just his chauffeur for the most part, help him with bills and stuff like that. And then he lost his legs due to an infection in his feet that got into his bones that spread into his blood. Oh, yeah, that was a whole situation, guys. If you have an infection, get it treated, because it can cause way worse stuff. And then he was trying to do the prosthetics thing, and and that he got really frustrated with that because he gained a lot of weight and they weren't fitting right. They were just falling off. And so he decided he's just going to go the wheelchair route. And he had a UTI. Turned out he collapsed on me back in, I think it was August. I think it was the second round. It was the second round of alpha testing for Godforge. I don't remember if it was July or if it was August.
Oh yeah, this past year.
But he collapsed on me. I took him to the hospital. My sister came to help me out, and then they were doing scans and stuff trying to figure out what caused him to collapse. Turns out he had a UTI, but when they did chest x-ray, they found a lump on his chest. In his
that's
lungs.
how you found the cancer.
And yeah, and they did all the biopsies, and turns out it came back as cancerous, and like had the really surreal thing where, because of the alpha, my sister came to help out so I could do my live streams and videos and stuff. I'm live streaming to Twitch, and my sister knocks on the door and comes in and tells me that she got a call from Dad. It's cancer. And I was like, live on camera, I'm like, oh God, dude, what do I do? And so I tried to keep the stream going a little bit, but I was like, just everything was racing through, and I was like, okay, I'm just going to kill everything, kill the stream. I'll be back later. And then from that point on, it was like, try to do all the tests, get all the tests done. Is it stage 1? Is it stage 2? Is it stage 3, 4, or whatever? And came back that it was stage 3. And he looked at me and said, what would you do if you were me? And I told him I would go ahead and, try to fight it because the doctor said it's very curable. We're very confident we can get this cured for you with chemotherapy and radiation. And he was like, okay. And the way my dad processed stuff was a little slower. He had to take that information and spend a couple weeks on it to really motivate himself one way or the other. But he decided to try to fight it, and unfortunately, the chemotherapy just killed off his immune system. So he was just getting infection after infection, and each one was hitting him harder and harder and harder. So technically, the flu is what took him out, but it was really just complications of the cancer treatment and having cancer in general. So it's just, yeah, it was didn't come out of nowhere because of the cancer diagnosis and everything like that. It's like once cancer is a word in your vocabulary, it's kind of like, okay, stuff could happen at any time. But it did come pretty quickly because just the nature of how he would recover from one infection, and he'd be strong for a couple of days, and then it was just right back down to like, can't even move. And each time it was harder and harder on his body. But, it's, his body was ready to go. And, he's no longer suffering and in pain. So he's up. If you believe in heaven, he's up in heaven with my grandfather and hanging out with all the cool ass rock musicians that he loved, like Jimi Hendrix and all them guys. He's a big time hippie rocker. So he's up there. He's probably got a broomstick, just jamming out, playing air guitar. So knowing my dad, that's what he's doing.
Was that the last stream that you did? Have you streamed since then?
I want to say because I want to say that was the second round of alphas. So I did stream during wave 3,
yeah, okay.
and I was able to make content during wave 3. My dad was in the other room, so I would just be like, I would stream while he was in the other room. Gave him his cell phone, said, if you need me, just text me. And I would have my phone like right next to my camera, ready to go. But even at that, so I could just run and go take care of him if anything happened. But for the most part, he was able to, when he was home, he was basically just hanging out in bed watching Westerns and, snacking on Little Debbie snacks and stuff like that. But
that car that you posted, is that what you were driving him around in? Is that thing running?
Oh, the one in the garage? No,
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
our. It is a 1970 Firebird Esprit model.
It looks sick. It looks like it's ripe for being restored.
Yeah, that was our family grocery getter when I was a kid. So that was, pack up my mom, my dad in the front, my sister and myself in the back seat, and that was our family car. No, that one's it's got a lot of work that needs to be done. I don't know if I'm gonna have the energy or time and / money to properly put into it, but so I might list it and sell it to somebody that can invest the time and energy into it. But yeah, that car is pretty sick. I also have kind of same situation. My first car is in our backyard. I didn't put a picture in our Discord chat of this one, but it's a 1964 Ford Falcon.
Oh, cool.
And if anybody's familiar with Mustangs, the 64.5 Mustang, the original Mustang, used a bunch of like body parts and subframe parts from the Falcon. And it has a manual transmission that is what is commonly referred to as a 3 on the tree. So you have your stick shift is actually on your steering column, and so you have back and up. Literally, back up is reverse, and then all the way down is first. Up is second, and then all the way down is third. And I like to tell people, if you can drive that, you can drive anything. It's like driving an old tractor on the farm. Yeah, it's like driving an old tractor on the farm. It's so different that if you can manage the clutch and doing it up here in a weird configuration instead of like a normal 5-speed transmission, you can drive anything. So, and same deal with that. I don't really know if I'm going to have the time, energy, and money to put into either one of the cars to really give them the love that they deserve. So I might be listing those and then taking that money and putting it back into the house for repairs or remodeling and stuff like that. So we'll kind of see. I'm going to kind of take that a few months down the road and make that decision, kind of really ponder on that and see how that's going to go. But yeah, our garage this weekend, man, is basically packed full. Like, you had a walkway of a body width that you could go out of our house and then to the garage door, and we had our washing machine and dryer like right there. That was clear. Everything else was just solid junk.
Oh, so like these pictures of the garage, like
those are like after wow. Day one, and we even did more today. We got a lot more done today. But yeah, I rented a 30-yard roll-off dumpster. It's in my driveway, and I think we got about 3/4 of it full. Wow. Yeah, it's been quite. It's been a weird vibe of cleaning out your because you kind of feel accomplished and you feel good that you're making all this. You feel sad that you're getting rid of stuff that my dad always wanted to keep, whether it was junk or not. And then also it's kind of cathartic, kind of going through it, because it's like, okay, it's a fresh start, and we're able to kind of clear some of this stuff out, make it a fresh start, and get back to zero, so to speak, and then we can make the house our own and kind of fix it up, give the house the love that it deserves, that it didn't get for a long time.
Do you think you'll stay in California and stay in this studio, or are you going to come back to Mountain Time Zone?
If I win the lottery, I'm coming back to Colorado, and I'll have a second house, and I'll do all that. As it is, with this house, it's almost paid for, so it's almost like, I could sell it and use that money towards down payment or whatever, buy another house somewhere else outright. But this is also, we've been in this house, we moved into this particular house in 1985. So this house has literally 40 plus years of memories and sentimental value to it. So I believe I'm going to keep the house. I'm going to do everything I can to keep the house. Even if it's nothing else, when I'm dead and gone and everything. I don't have kids, don't plan on having kids, but I can pass it on to maybe like my nieces or something like that. And they can, at that point, they could do with it what they want. If they want to keep it as like a backup just in case, or rent it out and have an income, that'll be completely their choice at that point. But yeah, as far as I'm concerned, I do believe I'm going to probably be here forever and just kind of make this house my own and try to, at this point, I'm really probably going to level up the studio. So we'll probably do some DIY projects, maybe get rid of the green screen or possibly talk to my uncle who's a retired contractor about how do I get my floor Elgato green screen. Like, is there a way we might be able to mount it to the ceiling so I could just pull it down instead of having to like dig it out and pull it up and everything? Set up some nice vibes.
Submit your studio to TechSource. See if he'll do
get old Edgar, get Edgar to do a room makeover, or even
I think he prefers ones that he can drive to, and you're within driving distance.
Yeah, I think the last one I saw him do, like the last big one I saw him do was in Texas, and he flew out there, and it was a nightmare because like parts that got shipped out were like broken and stuff. But I was like, good old Edgar. I love watching that series. He's a good YouTuber, man. I love watching YouTubers that are in other genres than ours. So like Edgar with Tech Source, Linus Tech Tips, Jay's 2 cents for PC stuff. I even watch Van Life. So I watch like van lifers that are like based out of Canada. They just do stuff on the daily basis. And it's weird. I would have never watched stuff with an eye to like production.
But
after making videos and stuff, I'm like, okay, I see that transition, how they made that hard cut from this to this, and I'm like, how could I really like the vibe of how that flowed for them. How can I bring that to the gacha game that I'm covering, like Raid Shadow Legends or Godforge or GTA even? And I'm like, I'm always thinking of stuff like that, and it's just kind of goofy because it's like I'm not even watching stuff with the intent to do that, and it's just, oh man, I think I can do that. And then I go in and I'm going to either Resolve or Photopea or something, and I spend 5-6 weeks trying to recreate something and can't get anywhere close. And so I have about probably 3 folders that are half full of different half finished jobs that are just not good. They're not worthy of even showing a friend like, hey, what do you think about this? It's just like, yeah, that's bad.
It's interesting. You've got this kind of like content tinkerer mindset with that story that you told about when you had the laptop and you bounced a desk light off of a white foam board. I'm thinking to myself, so I got a film degree when I went to college.
Nice.
I got a film degree, and then I did nothing with it until I launched this channel, basically.
Sounds like typical college response. I went to car school, and I don't work on cars.
Well, now you've got one. We've got maybe you do a series on this car. But how did you think to bounce a desk light off of white foam board when you had no production experience before or lighting experience?
I thought back to like Little League, and when I was a kid, getting our photos done for like Little League, and they would have a light, and they would have one of those the light bounces that would fold up and stuff, and I was like, so they weren't actually shining the light at us. The light was facing away from us, and it would hit that bounce off that was kind of off to the side and come back at us, all diffused and everything. And everybody was like, I was watching like how to make like DIY like key lights and stuff. I even made one at one point. It's from like Home Depot stuff, and it was like all about like the diffusion and stuff. And I was like, well, one guy said, if you have a white wall, just aim it at the wall and it'll come back. And I was like, oh man, I don't have a white wall, but I have this white foam that came on a desktop that I needed for like working when I got a desk to go work at home, the packaging material. And I was like, so I got some double-sided tape and just put it on the wall, and I put the lamp facing that, and I turned on my $30 Chinese camera, and I was like, oh, this looks a lot better than just having the light bulb staring straight at me. So I was like, okay. So we did that for probably a year before I DIY'd my key light and had that off to the side, and I was using both. And then I bought a $30. Actually, it's right here. I bought a $30. It's plugged in. I don't know if you can see it.
It almost came into frame.
It's plugged in.
Little ring light action.
Yeah, a little $30 ring light, and then about a year after that, I bought this ring light, and now they're like mounted together.
Oh,
those are typically little behind the curtain for everybody. When you have a green screen, you want to light the screen, not yourself so much. So these two lights are good, but they're kind of wonky because I'm doing all kinds of home stuff. So the ring lights that are down there are meant to kind of sit on the side of me by my chair and light up the bottom of the green screen, because you can kind of see, like, you get that little green halo and stuff like that. That's just kind of behind the curtain for anybody that is thinking about making content. And I will say, if you've ever thought about making content, or you're very hypercritical of content creators, get yourself a webcam, fire up OBS, it's free. Hit up DaVinci Resolve, it's free. Go ahead and make a video. And either two things are going to happen. You're going to be naturally good at it, and you're going to love it, and you're going to keep doing it, or you're going to understand what goes into it, and you're going to just be like, oh man, that's a lot of work just to do a silly little 10 minute video on a raid Shadow Legends hero.
Yeah. The podcast, I've gotten down to a science to some extent. I mean, it still takes time, and it takes money because of the particular software that I use. But that video that I just did with Adam and Papa Tez, I don't know why I put that on myself before having to do a conference. But that was the one where I was staying up till 2:00 in the morning figuring stuff out. And then I'm disappointed with some of the edits, but it's like, you just have to get it out. You just have to get it out at some point.
Yeah, at some point you just got to be like, it's good enough. Like, is it actually good enough? No, but is it something that the return on the time investment that I'm putting in, is it gonna be, is me spending another 4 hours on this edit gonna gain me, 100 more followers or 100 more subscribers on YouTube or whatever? And you just kind of gotta weigh it, and it's a balancing act for sure. I have a problem when I record my videos. I have a lot of either dead air in between sentences, or I have a lot of run-on sentences, or sometimes I even cover the same thing twice accidentally, and I don't even realize it until I'm editing. So I have to. It's a balancing act. I'm always trying to edit out. Every edit, I feel I get a little bit better, and that's all we can do, right? It's the same thing with life. Everything. Try to be that 1% better today than I was yesterday. And just kind of keep moving forward. But yeah, editing is crazy, man. If you're doing that many cuts, like you were saying, that's the time where I'm like, man, how much is an editor? how much is it going to cost to get me an editor? One day I might be able to get an editor. Who knows? We'll see if the channels blow up and everything. Maybe we'll be able to afford editors around here. But until then, it's all one man show, and it's crazy to think about because especially when we're live streaming. It's like, you're the host of the TV show, the writer, director, executive producer. You're the guy in the truck pushing the actual buttons, switching camera angles. You're the graphic designer. It's like you're doing all that while trying to entertain people and talk to people, keep up with chat, and it's a balancing act for sure.
And still play a game. Exactly.
That's why gacha games are a little nice for streaming and stuff, because typically you can do a lot of auto stuff. You're not hardcore grinding where GTA and some of those FPS games like Marvel Rivals and Valorant and Overwatch, those are really active. I know when I watch friends stream those, they're basically locked in playing the game, and then in the loading screens and in between rounds and stuff, that's when they come back to chat and come back and everything. And it's just like, oh man, it's just, those games are just way too much for me. I used to enjoy them, like Gears of War days and stuff, but I couldn't imagine trying to stream Gears of War today. That would just be, well, it would just be one long curse word, because some of those levels were very difficult for me back in the day, and I know, not having played them in 15 years, it might be even more difficult now. But because I'm older and slower now.
I'm thinking of when you're streaming, right, you either have to be really good at the game and people watch because they want to improve and they want to learn from you, or you got to be really entertaining.
Yeah.
the best is if you can be a hybrid. But I'm sitting here as you're describing that, thinking of like Burnt Peanut. Have you seen any of Burnt Peanut's videos?
I've seen some clips recently. I've been completely out of the loop on that. I know he won like VTuber of the Year or something like that.
Yeah.
I've seen a couple clips of people reacting to him here and there, but never actually stopped in and watched one of his streams. They look entertaining though.
Yeah, so. I've watched some of his Arc Raiders stuff, and it's like, he's not great, right? He's good. He's good enough that you don't feel like you're watching somebody who's bad at the game, but man, he is on top of it with the jokes, the entertainment.
Yeah.
Obviously the production design, and I love how like he's got in the chat now. I think all of the costume swapping is chat led.
Nice.
I believe that that's the case. So then when you see his costume change, it's like somebody cheered bits or something like that. But
yeah,
that's a whole world.
It's a good little hack to get chat engagement. Is have like those costume changes and stuff tied to either bits or even just channel points for free. But it's a good way to get a little bit of chat engagement so people can get the ball rolling and stuff. But I know Deadwood Jedi, I was mod for his Twitch streams forever.
Oh, cool.
He would have channel point redemption, which just means you earn channel points just by being in chat for an amount of time. He would have hat change. So he had like a whole wall of hats like next to him, and he would grab a hat, put it on, and he would do like shard pulls and like accents and stuff because he was like an actor and stuff and stuff like that prior to getting into content creation.
Famous actor.
Yeah.
His dad was like Young and the Restless or something like that.
Days of Our Lives.
Days of Our Lives.
Yeah. Abe Carver was his dad.
Carver.
Yeah. Deadwood Jedi is like one of my. I love that dude to death. He's like family to me. We shared an Airbnb in Vegas.
Oh, cool.
At TwitchCon. Yeah, Deadwood Jedi, myself, Veiled Shot's wife, and Chosen.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we shared an Airbnb in Las Vegas at TwitchCon. Chosen was never there. Chosen was always out doing stuff. That dude's got more energy than I know what to do with. I've never seen anybody with that much energy. It's impressive. But we would stay up. I'm not a big drinker normally, but we would stay up having some beers till I think I would hit the hay around like 3:30, 4 o'clock, and then they were still going. I was like, God bless you boys, man. I am too old and too tired for this.
Well,
kind of glad TwitchCon's the conventions aren't in Vegas anymore because Vegas is just too much for me.
We'll see what TwitchCon is next year, man. Like after this past TwitchCon, it's going to be
this year was
some changes, I think.
Hopefully for the good.
Yeah.
I'm probably not going to go more for financial reasons than anything, but even if I had the money for it, I probably wouldn't go this year just because of what happened last year. Like it was forgive the cussing, but it was a shit show. It was so many things happened this last year that were just like so easily avoidable. It's like so easily avoidable, and it feels like they just don't care. And it's like it feels like they don't care to fix the issues that are wrong with the convention. And it's just like, do I want to support that, or do I not want to support that, or do I just want to come up with our, get into Discord, maybe we do like we all as content creators, maybe we all set up like a Godforge convention of our own somewhere, meet up and just have like a barbecue in a park somewhere, and just, content creators in our communities and stuff, we can all meet up and do something like that,
Like adjacent.
Yeah, like not really a convention, but just like hey, we're just going to have like a little, family reunion, so to speak, and rent like an arbor at a park or something with a big barbecue, or if enough people were involved, maybe cater it out with like a taco truck or a food truck or something, or something like that. Just something out of the box that's not, spending a lot of money for a corporation. Like that doesn't care.
Well, I know they've teased like, do they want to do a Fateless Con or something like that? And then we've got the potential still Vegas thing that happens for the contest winners, where they'll allow people to come hang out. And I am still planning on hosting a reception. for that, but I need dates. We're starting to get close to April, and I'm like, thought this thing was going to be announced at some point.
Yeah, as long as I can get, a couple months, hopefully, lead in time so I can, okay, can I make it? If I go to this, am I going to be able to afford a hotel? Will I need to sleep in the car? Will I need to do this? Stuff like that. I 100% want to go and hang out. But yeah, I completely forgot about that, about them doing that. So yeah, I mean, if they do something like that, that's going to be awesome. Like they've done like the coins that we got for participating in the alphas. If anybody is not familiar with it, just for participating in the alpha waves, right? They gave it to everybody that participated.
They
right?
did.
It was gonna initially just be like the first 1,000 people, but we got the Godforge coins. Mine just came a couple weeks ago in the mail, so it's nice and it's like almost like an old military like challenge coin style.
I'll unbox mine on the podcast here because it came while I was at the conference, so nice. I didn't see if I can use
Yeah, these are really cool. Like I even showed it to like my sister who's not a gamer and doesn't follow Godforge or Fateless or any of that stuff, and she's like, "Dude, that's freaking awesome." I was like, "Yeah." And to me, knowing a little bit about metalwork and stuff, and from the video of like what went down when they were making them and everything, I'm just like, dude, that's a lot of money that they put up for that. So
it's a really nice coin. Wow.
Yeah.
It's really heavy.
Yeah. It reminds me of a challenge coin from, if anybody was like a veteran watching or anything, it kind of reminds me of that, like heft wise. Or if you're old like me, maybe a slammer for pogs, but I would not want to use that as a slammer.
Oh, yeah, cool! And it's got a little
I am
message.
That old. Yeah, it's super. It's a super cool unboxing for me. I was like, I completely forgot about it, and I was like, what is this at my door?
Yeah. Well, you got the shipping notifications, and in the United States, like we don't know who any of these companies are, like Exalot or something like that.
Yeah, I was like, I was scared to click on it at first. I was like, dude, am I gonna is this gonna be like some kind of phishing thing?
Yeah.
And I work IT at a bank, so we do like phishing tests all the time, so I'm hyper critical of any email that comes to me, and I'm just like, I don't know. I'm like, actually, I am expecting something from these people, so it's probably okay. But I quit clicking on like the emails as they came through. I was like, it's gonna get here when it gets here. I'm not worried about it.
We've mentioned it a couple times, like how crazy this group is who's making this game, where the amount of focus that they've put on the community so far. But interestingly enough, I kind of bundle you in with that. Like in the back of my mind, I call Brandon the CC whisperer, because a lot of the content assistance that we've had, especially like around the alpha time, I think you were putting videos in the G drive for like photo P and stuff like that, like how to make a thumbnail. You're probably still the best or one of the best at thumbnails of anybody that's in this group.
I appreciate that. One little thing that I did on my last group, they haven't been put live yet, but I took like my last group of thumbnails that I was putting out, and I put it into Chat GPT and use AI as a tool, not a crutch, right? So I put it in there and I prompted Chat GPT, how can I make this look more professional, more clean, like a professional graphic artist made this thumbnail and stuff like that, and then ask it, and then give me a step-by-step process for for Photopea, or if you're using like Adobe, step-by-step process for Adobe to do these things. And I was like, I followed along with it, and it took me like 2-3 hours to go through everything, but they were all like really small adjustments, but they made sense after I saw the finished product. And I was like, oh man, this is so cool. I can't wait till the game drops, because I have I have a thumbnail ready to go for like my lives, for live streams for YouTube. I have thumbnails for champion, hero spotlights. I have, just general gameplay stuff and stuff like that. I'm gonna try to do like a little bit more on the news once the early access comes out, and try to be more up on that kind of stuff. So I have like all these thumbnails ready to go that I haven't shown anybody yet. So I'm like,
that are better than the ones that you have now.
They are looking pretty nice. I'll have to shoot you some. They're not like secret or anything. I just happen to not show anybody what they look like. But yeah, they're leveled up quite a bit. Like putting like almost like a kind of this stormy background. It's like you can do the stormy background, then you could put this at like 50% opacity, and then you can put like something over top of it with like a vignette to make it all dark around the outside, and you like multiply that vignette like 3 or 4 times, so it's like really dark on the outside and it kind of steps in, and it's like it makes it more of a natural grade. And there's all kinds of stuff that you can do in there. And like Photopea is literally Adobe, it's Photoshop.
Yeah, uses
free.
The same file, which is crazy.
It's literally free. You can, if you're working like collaborations, like say I'm working on say we're working on a collaboration for a thumbnail. I can start one out and save it as a Photoshop file, a .psd, and then send that to you over Discord or whatever. You download that, you open that in Adobe, and it's seamless. You can make changes and send it back to me, and save it, send it back to me. I can open it in Photopea. It's super awesome. It's a free program. There's ads, so like you're gonna have a big ad bar on the side if you are doing it for free. I'm okay paying I think it's like $15 a month, $15 US, give or take, every 3 months for 3 months of access. You could do monthly, you can do shorter periods, but with the amount of effort that they put into that application, I'm happy to pay that for it, because Adobe is just a lot of money and I can't afford that.
It is, yeah. No, Photopea's been good. It's been hard for me to learn because I've never been a graphic designer, and I don't get the thought process behind a lot of the ways that you interact with things. So it's when I use it, it still feels hacky. I still feel like I have to kind of click nowhere to solve a problem, where there's probably like a logic with keyboard shortcuts and swapping tools and stuff.
Yeah, I still go back and watch tutorials. So if I have done some things like probably 100 times in Photopea, and it's just kind of one of those things. If it's not something you do every day, it goes out the memory, and it's just not there again. And so I have to go back and I have to go watch, look it up on YouTube, like how do I do this effect? And I'm like, oh, I watched that video, that shows that I watched the video on YouTube, so I click on that one and I'm like, oh yeah, that's how I do it. And then it's like a refresher. But I basically work on the operation of, I make a thumbnail, and I save it as a work in progress, a .psd file, so I can have that as a base, and then I can come in like for hero spotlights for Godforge. I'll save it as a work in progress with like say Zeus as the hero, and all the highlights and everything are tied to him. So when I go back in for the next one, I just say I'm doing Heimdall. I just bring the PNG with no background in of Heimdall, delete Zeus, delete the highlights that were on Zeus, outlining Zeus and stuff, and then just do all those little tweaks, and then figure out, okay, what am I going to title this video? What am I going to, and then after I title the video in my head, what's like a 2 or 3 word kind of like punchy headline for the actual thumbnail itself? Because you can't, if you have like, I learned the hard way, putting an entire paragraph on your thumbnail, people don't tend to want to click that. So if I've had better luck with 0 words on my thumbnails, just like a stop sign or like a hand with an arrow or something like that. You can get really creative. There's a lot of scientific psychology stuff that goes into it that a lot of normal viewers are never going to even think about, but it's stuff that as humans we think about, like, having somebody's actual face in the thumbnail trigger something in the back of our minds where it's like we're naturally drawn to click that over the identical thing that has maybe a cartoon face. So it's kind of trippy to when you start looking at it from that angle, which is what I've done, looking at hours and hours and hours of tutorials on how to do stuff. And then I'm like, I'm the kind of person, I want to bring everybody up. I don't want to get to the next level up and then pull the ladder up behind me. I want to put the ladder down and reach a hand down to everybody else and try to bring everybody along with me, because what's that saying? The high tide raises all ships. So, I want to bring everybody along with me, and I want, as a competitor, because as content creators, we're all competitors. We're competing for a lot of the same views a lot of times. I want to beat everybody at their best. If I'm at my best and you're at your best and you beat me, shake your hand, pat you on the back, good job. But I don't want to beat you if you're like, got the flu and you've got one blown out knee and stuff, and I beat you in a foot race. I'm not going to feel like that's a win. That's just me. I'm healthy, you're not. Okay, here we go. But so it's kind of like by trying to, share some of the stuff that I've learned just by trial and error and everything. If I can help one person, I'm happy to do it. I just love helping people. I don't know why. It's a curse at times.
Well, you certainly helped me. You and Susie and Sneaky, probably more than anybody else, got this thing cooking. Now I've got an actual thumbnail style for the podcast that's not just the logo. That was exciting. And I did actually exchange a PSD on that, and that was when I realized that like Photoshop could be opened in Photopea. Yeah. But
it's super cool, and you can use like assets too, like the brushes and stuff like that. For Photoshop, you can open in Photopea. So
that was one of the photo. Here's a good example. That was one of the Photopea things that was really like, it didn't make any sense to me until like I screwed up enough times that I started realizing what was happening. But it's like, if you, let's say, use the background removal tool, you then on your line item in the structure page have like what's left and then the cut background. Yeah. And if the cut background is what's highlighted and you start erasing, you start putting the background back in, and I'm like, what is going on? Like, it's not intuitive at all.
Who is it? There's a creator that I watch. He's actually the creator that, he doesn't even do like a lot of tutorials, but Gal Level is his name. He's a graphic designer. He does a lot in Adobe and stuff like that, but he branches out when he sees a new application. He tries it out, and he tries to do stuff that he could do in Adobe, in Photopea and Canva and all of that kind of stuff. And one thing when he does that background removal, he always tries to say, what is it? White reveals, black hides, or it's inverse, one of them, because it's all white and black. So it's like one of them, I forget which one it is off the top of my head, but like white reveals what's in the background and the black takes out. The black is like, it hides. One hides, one reveals. It's kind of trippy, and then you can get really crazy. You can start fading it and stuff like that, and you can make like a nice like a round gradient fade, so you can fade one thing into the other. I thought it was a really cool thumbnail back in the day, because I had a video on Tormund, the little dwarf guy that freezes everybody, and I paired him up with my Tyrant Ixlamore that burns everybody, because Tormund has a passive. If somebody has a freeze, if they're frozen and they're burning at the same time, he just spams his A1 every time they take a turn. And so I call it the Fire and Ice team. And so I had this really cool snowflake, really high close-up snowflake picture, and I took and I had another one of like just really cool campfire, and I like faded them together, and I put all my stuff on it. Fire and ice is so cool. And I was like, and that video got like 20 views over like a year. I was like, oh no. I was like, oh no, people don't like my thumbnail. I was like, nobody's even clicking it. So they're like, it's not even if they don't like it, they're clicking out of the video. It's just, they're not even clicking into it. So I was like, oh man. I was like, so that one kind of hurt. So sometimes it's hit and miss. Sometimes you can do something and you think in your mind it's the coolest thing since sliced bread, and it just does not get over with the fans.
One thing thumbnail wise we got to call out is if you go back in time enough on, I think it's the Variety channel, you've got a little bit of Jason Momoa hair going there.
Oh,
you've
yeah. I had the long hair for a while. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a long mohawk, not a full mohawk. I would always, because I work for IT in a bank, and so I couldn't have the full mohawk, but I would do just a top. I would cut it off at the back there, and just do like I always called it a top hawk is what I called it, and then I would put it up in a ponytail or not really I would like fold the ponytail back forward so it would almost look like I had hair just coming forward right here. And then, like, when I would do my videos and stuff, I would usually, like, at home, I would go ahead and let it down. And, yeah, I had some long hair for a while. It was pretty wild. I'm kind of, that's kind of what I'm doing with the top right now. I'm letting the top go. And one last hoorah, because I'm starting to lose it a little bit right in here. And so I figure, why not? One last hoorah. We'll do a nice little long top hawk again, and maybe dye it up some fun colors and stuff like that. Hopefully I don't have to go into the office if I dye it, and if I do dye it, hopefully they don't say anything. But
maybe we can set up like a hair awards and a beard awards. Oh, yeah. And like put Adam against somebody, you know?
Dude, Adam's, even like when he shows off the pictures of like, you know, a few years ago when he first started doing content, his beard was like impressive. He had like one of those Nordic, like when you watch like the show from Vikings and stuff. Yeah. That was cool. Mine's always been just a goatee. I was blessed with having the old chubby guy chin. Right out of high school, so as soon as I could start growing a little bit of a chin beard, I started growing that, and then just, I don't know why, I just started letting the goatee go longer and longer, and I painted cars for about 10 years.
Oh, cool.
And we had to wear a respirator, and basically the respirator kind of goes right there, and they tell you as long as it can make a seal with your skin around it, you can have all the hair you want, you know, longest mustache you want, longest, you know, goatee you want, as long as it fits inside your. So I was walking around with my beard tickling my nose all day for like, you know, 10 years, and then when I finally, you know, got out of that business, I started growing out the rest of the beard, and it's just been kind of like, ever since then, I hate shaving. It hurts. It's not fun. So I just decided I'm not going to do it anymore. And luckily, the bank has been cool about it. So they have every right in their dress code to say, hey, you have to shave that beard and be clean shaven. But nobody said anything. I work from home anyway, so I don't think they care too much. I wear basketball shorts and a little hoodie or something every day.
Everybody that works from home wears shorts.
Yeah. Or sweats in the wintertime, right? Yeah.
Well, we've touched on a couple of different cultural topics, but we haven't touched on music yet. So I and some of the viewers are very curious what the music of choice is for Brandon.
That is a fun question. It's quite literally everything but country.
Finally. So many people I've interviewed are like, oh, lately I'm on country. No matter what country they're in, they're like, man, I love country. But
yeah, no, there's a couple artists that I enjoy, and it's more because they're kind of funny. Wheeler Jr. Walker Jr. is about as country as I go. Yeah. He's very vulgar, but for me it tickles that funny bone. So I let the twangy guitar slide. But I go through phases. I kind of hyper fixate on stuff. There was a time I was really heavy into like Russian hard bass.
Russian hard bass. I don't even know
Yeah,
what that is.
it's that very very tinny, sound to it. I love heavy metal. Almost all variations of heavy metal, black metal, the stuff that you can't understand because they scream so deep. Pig squeals, love pig squeals in my metal. Love rap music. I love crazy lyrical rap music, and I also love like the poppy, more fun stuff. Started getting into baby metal lately. Really like them. The Japanese girls, they're awesome. Yeah. I found some trap remixes of like Mozart and Beethoven that are really cool. One of my favorites that goes into rotation all the time is like the trap remix to Bluebird, the Naruto theme. Somebody made a trap remix with that just rips. Some theme songs, some musical songs like Cannibal the Musical, the guys from South Park.
Yeah. Let's build a snowman.
What is it? My heart's as big. My heart's as full as a baked potato.
Yeah.
I think that you know exactly what I mean. Yeah. Stuff like that.
Just doinkle day.
Yeah, exactly. If you haven't seen Cannibal the Musical, guys,
God, I
look
haven't
it
watched
up. It's
Cannibal.
hilarious.
I haven't watched Cannibal in years. I need to watch that. I quote that movie all the time, and my partner, she's never seen it, and she's like, "What are you talking about?"
Is there any more Schwann's
all
ass?
the time? I'm like, "You boys looking at my eye?" Say that all the time.
Or we are Indians.
Yeah, we have a teepee.
Yeah, there's so many offensive jokes in that. It's hilarious. But if you like South Park, I think you're gonna love it. If nobody's seen it, and do yourself a favor and watch that. It's fun.
I think it's better every time you watch it. It's one of those movies that's just funnier and funnier and funnier.
Yeah, people in the background doing goofy stuff.
Yeah,
it's the best. Pretty much grew up on rap music. Love some classic rock. My dad, my mom, they were big into it, but like some artists are really huge for me. Like I love Jim Croce, Janis Joplin. They're really high up on the list in the playlist if I'm in kind of that kind of mood. But I could also be listening to like Immortal Technique and listening to that if I want some crazy lyrical, heavy, dark themed rap music. Immortal Technique is one of the best. I also, where I grew up in California, is very rural, agricultural based. My entire town is surrounded by either dairies or walnut fields or corn fields. All the farm workers, I grew up with them as my friends. So grew up around a lot of Mexican folks, and so there's a lot of Mexican rap music that I listen to. I love it's Friday music. It's the corridos, the stuff like that. All the accordions. I love the accordions because of where I grew up. It's just what I love. And I used to work in the body shop. Everybody that I worked with was all Mexican. My dad and I were the only white guys in the entire shop at one point. And one of the old guys would put it on that station, and it was just like, fire it up. It's Friday, it's payday. Yeah. That's what that music means to me. So I'm super happy when I hear it. Like I have neighbors and friends that were never around it and stuff, and they hear it and they're just like, God, it's so loud. And I'm just like, nah, man, it needs to be loud. And it goes till 3 a.m. It's 100%. You don't stop until everybody's passed out. But yeah, musically, I like a little bit of just about everything. Yeah,
just about everything but country. Yeah, I go through my phases on all the stuff. There was a Mexican rap band that I used to listen to, and I can't remember their name for the life of me right now.
Ooh.
I know that. Throw some out there.
I was gonna say the big ones that I know are like Delinquent Habits, way back in the day, A Lighter Shade of Brown. And
this
then
would have been way back in the day, but
you have like the era that I was the most active in was the Psycho Realm. They were probably my favorite rap group of all time. Cypress Hill, you could kind of classify them as both rap and rock at one point.
Yeah. I still associate them with the United States, but they were heavily influenced and incorporated Spanish.
Yeah.
I can't think of the name. I know like one of the contemporaries of whoever I'm thinking of was called Panda, but that wasn't the one that I liked.
Okay.
And of course Ozo Motley, but Ozo Motley's like Puerto Rican, right? Not Mexican.
Yeah, and Ozo Motley, every time I heard Ozo Motley, it always was almost like a 311 vibe. It's kind of like that kind of in-between vibe for me. Could have just been that I only heard a few songs because I only did hear a few songs back in the day of Ozo Motley. But
there's a big spectrum there. There's a big and Charlie Tuna is like the deepest rapper voice. So
from Jurassic 5?
Yeah. Because he was in Ozo Motley, right? Am I crazy?
I think so. Yeah.
Now I got to look this up.
One of the ones that the group, again, dating myself back around 1999, 2000, the group Len from Canada, they had,
He was
they had,
Steal My Sunshine?
Steal My Sunshine, but like they had,
still one of the best
not
songs.
Even the best song on the album, man.
No?
They had one called The Cryptic Souls Crew, and they got like all their, the other rappers that they would collab with and tour with and stuff in Canada, they got them to do like one of those kind of mid 80s crew type songs where they all got on it, and like there's stuff that I quote to this day, like I'm the ABDOMINAAAAALLLL, that's abdominal, quite obvious because I trust you know how to spell. It's like that kind of vibe to it, and like Biz Markie shows up on that album like in multiple places. I'm like, dude, what?
I like that one song so much, but I never listened to that
song.
Yeah, I never listened.
Yeah. Or Alien Ant Farm's a huge band that I love. They're highly underrated, in my opinion. Papa Roach, they were dope back in the day. Pretty much anything that sang about anybody that sang about suicide was always big in me, just because those songs hit hard lyrically, and I like heavy hitting lyrics. So
I'd got over that one, but Dead Cell, I still to this day love Dead Cell. That's such a
Dead
good
Cell's
Papa Roach
dope.
song.
Yeah, Dead Cell. That whole album, I think the album is called Infest. That whole album is really good for me. Other people maybe not so much, but like System of a Down, Chop Suey is literally about suicide. Head PE has a song that is, literally the song is called Swan Dive. You can make your own assumptions from the lyrics about that, but it's pretty much anything that had like some sort of like a melancholy, like I'm an outsider type of a vibe to it. I really vibed with when I was younger. And if it was angry, I had a lot of anger problems when I was younger.
You triggered a memory.
Yeah.
I saw Head PE. This is very strange. I saw Head PE open for POD.
Oh, nice.
You think about the strange
my very first
juxtaposition there.
My very first concert that I went to, that wasn't like at the fairgrounds with my parents or something like that, was POD.
Nice.
right before they blew up. So they were still on a Christian band tour with like Project 86 and like some other Christian bands. and so like it was the weirdest thing to like be at a Christian rock show and you just hear like somebody get on the mic and go, Jesus loves you. And I'm like, what is going on? My mind was like, what is this? This is weird. And then POD came out and they did all the Southtown and all the songs from that album, which were awesome. And then they just blew up to megastars and then to nothing. They're gone.
Well, we got so mad at them. I told Adam this on the podcast, but like I was kind of a purist when I was in high school and college. as far as like music and the vibe you were giving off and whatnot. Like I would
Yeah.
get mad at somebody if they wore skate shoes and they weren't a skater. But we turned on POD hard because after they got big, we went to a POD show and they were charging $35 for a T-shirt in like
Whoa.
2001, 2002,
Yeah,
something like that. And I was
that's
like,
a lot, man.
oh, respect your roots. What are you doing? These kids can't afford
Yeah.
these shirts. I was like, what is this band?
Yeah, that's a lot of money for a T-shirt, for a band,
know, right?
for a concert
20
shirt.
years ago. It's
At
still a
that
lot of money
time,
for
yeah.
a T-shirt today.
Yeah, man, that's crazy, man. I remember going to the Warp Tour one year because my best friend, his nephew, who was younger than my best friend, that's always hilarious to me. But his nephew was in a punk rock band called Up Syndrome, and they were playing the Warp Tour. And so I like, me and my buddy, my best friend, we were the only people in the entire crowd that knew any of the songs because nobody in Tulare County, California knew who this band from Pomona, Pomona down in SoCal that played local shows just there. Nobody knew who they were, but who doesn't love a big fat guy with a mohawk? It's a vibe, man. And then we had, at that time that year, we had the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile was like parked right next to the stage. It was like, this is a vibe, man. You got the Wienermobile, you got a fat guy with a mohawk. Like, this is fun, man.
Shows just don't feel like they used to. The big psycho weird shows with high energy and music that was somewhat mysterious, back before you could just get it digest it at will,
Yeah.
Everything live music just feels like boring now. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a bummer because like live music always used to be my jam. Like I would go to a jazz bar and post up and have like a couple beers with my friends at a table while some crazy random jazz trio is just sitting there. They got one dude playing an upright bass, one dude playing a guitar, one dude playing a keyboard, no drums, no nothing, just playing some jazz music, some smooth jazz that you would hear like Kenny G style. And it's just like on the radio or on Spotify, I'm not listening to that ever. But you put me in that kind of a setting, it's like that music is meant to be enjoyed live, and it's a vibe, and I love catching the vibes when I'm out and about. It's just fun. So I get how some stuff is not great. Like I've been to a couple rap concerts and I'm like, you got a microphone, man. You don't need to be screaming, peeking that mic so much, man. Like,
oh, right. Yeah.
It's tough it's tough when you can't hear what they're saying because the mic is just feeding back so high, and it's just like, pick a lane, bro. Just let's figure it out. Get with your sound engineer. Let's get this. Let's dial this in here. But I get to that effect though. One of the better artist that I've seen live was Tech Nine, like because he had his mic dialed in and everything, but like it was a show, man. Just complete chopper style rapping, the super fast rapping, while literally dancing all around the stage and stuff, like, and having like that kind of club vibe to the show. Like he put on a damn good show, and I was impressed. I was always a fan of him, but after seeing him do it live, I was like, bro, this is incredible.
Well, we can take this easy past the 2-hour mark, but I know some of the listeners out there are going to get
sorry
mad
about
at
that,
me.
guys.
Not at all. If I have not yet had anybody on twice, so if we do, we know we got plenty we can talk about. But I do want to say,
I can go forever.
I do want to set people up for when we get ready for launch, what your channel and your live streaming is going to look like. Are you going to do both, and is it all going to be on the old Raid channel?
Yeah, so everything's going to be on YouTube. It's going to be on the JKG Plays channel. I plan on doing multi-streaming or maybe like individual streams to that channel, and then also to Twitch, just because I do have some folks over on Twitch. I'm JKG_Brandon on Twitch. The plan is to do kind of a morning talk showy type of vibe of a show, maybe like anywhere from like a 10 to 20 minute, kind of shoot the shit session about do about dailies, about life in general, kind of whatever. Not
Yeah,
gonna be the same.
I think we joked that you and me are gonna try to carry on the old J-Gig style.
That's what I was gonna say. It's definitely gonna be different than J Gigs' thing, because nobody's J Gigs. There's only one of that dude. That dude is the most talented dude I've ever seen. But it's gonna be kind of a spirit to it.
Well, right on, man. Well, we'll have the channel and the Twitch linked below for anybody that wants to jump in. Make sure you subscribe to JKG. Get notified when he goes live. And thanks again for coming, man. I really appreciate your time, and I'm glad we finally nailed it down.
Yeah, me too, man. It's been a great conversation. I really love it. And everybody, if you guys aren't already subscribed to Ned, please subscribe to this man. He is putting in the work, guys. He deserves all the love. So, yeah.
And we appreciate all of you for listening. Peace.
Peace.